let's talk about let's talk
Okay.
about uh the second. Let me change the speaker system. Yeah. So tell me any some differences between your school now in Canada and the earlier school you had in Peru in Lima. Do you
So
feel any differences there?
yes, there. So the so to start off, the first difference is that um, there are 5 years of high school in Peru. Here there are just four, and in elementary school we have 6 years of elementary school in Peru, and here in Canada we have four. Well, no, eight. Sorry, have eight, and after that, when you get into high school, you have to pick your courses according after well once you get to the third year of high school, you have to pick your courses according to what you want after high school, yeah, in university or college or whatever you want.
Okay.
Yes, but in Peru what happens is that you basically get all like 15 courses, like 15 or 17 courses, range between that number. And basically what happens is that you can choose uh, any um, any career for university, and with your high school with your high school career. And but here in Canada you just gotta pick courses according to what you want and after high school, yeah.
Hmm.
That's probably the main difference.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Hey, Gonzalo, welcome.
Hi, teacher.
And is your brother joining?
Yes, teacher. And
Yeah.
one more thing.
Okay. I mean, it is a very big change to decide to live in another country, from the country you have been living all your life. I don't know emotionally how difficult it is. I think if I have to live in another country now, it's going to be harder for me. But if I had moved to another country when I was a teenager, I think it would have been easy. It should be easier. So this decision now that you guys are in Canada should be most difficult for your mom and dad. Like emotionally, they had all their friends and everything, all their lives in Lima, and now suddenly they are in a foreign country with almost no friends and no neighbors that you could, like you said that in where you are, people kind of mind their own business, right? uh, they do not interfere in each other's lives so much, which also means that there is a lack of warmth. Hmm. These things, make me pretty curious. Would like to experience it firsthand, actually, just to know how it feels. Okay, and if you experience something firsthand, it means you experience it yourself rather than listen about it from somebody else. Mm. Okay, today we start here. What kind of person are you? So, we were learning some vocabulary, some adjectives, describe people's personality. So, do you have definite plans for your future career? This is what we were discussing. Um, some people are ambitious, they have big dreams. Now, number five, does your mood change often and suddenly for no reason? Some people have big mood swings, a very quick mood swing. Those people are called
Bipolar. Oh,
bipolar. Yes, that's a very common.
Moody?
Yeah, but bipolar is not a term we use in everyday conversation, and
oh,
it is a medical condition, you see. Okay. But before you become bipolar, I mean, you could be just
Moody?
called moody, you know.
yeah.
Yeah, but when it goes to an extreme, you are called bipolar. It's a medical condition, actually. But moody is just a personality type. Bipolar, two poles, North Pole and South Pole. Sometimes like North Pole, sometimes like South Pole. Totally different. Bipolar. That's slightly different from just moody. Okay. So some people are just moody. And it's not a very positive adjective to describe someone moody. Okay. Because your mood changes very often suddenly for no reason. Hmm. Do you see yourselves as moody? Do you think you guys are moody? Alejandro, Noelia, Gonzalo, do you think you're moody? Yeah.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes.
teenagers, once you cross that age, maybe you will be more even tempered. Okay, let's see. Do you notice other people's feelings, Gonzalo?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah,
Maybe
you.
when, well, maybe when I talk with them,
Hmm.
if it's my friend, like how I can say it, maybe a near friend, and I ask what's happening with him or her.
Hey, Gonzalo, that's so sweet of you. So, do you notice other people's feelings? The answer for Gonzalo is yes, he does. And if that person is even a little close, he cares enough to ask them how they're feeling. Okay. So, do you notice other people's feelings, Alejandro and Noelia? I think you guys do.
Yes.
And such a person who notices other people's feelings, w- which adjective describes them here?
Sensitive.
Sensitive. If you are sensitive, you kind of notice and understand other people's feelings. So sensitive people can understand other people's problems better. The name that comes to my mind is Oprah Winfrey, you know, a very sensitive lady. Um, her shows are full of empathy, sensitivity. She doesn't make her shows controversial by asking questions which are very rude and all. Sometimes TV stars, to make their programs more popular, they try and create controversies by asking some really rude questions. But she's very, very sympathetic, very kind, very understanding. In her talk show called Oprah Winfrey, I think. Oprah Winfrey Show. Yeah. I've seen a couple of episodes. A lovely, program to watch to improve your English as well. Oprah Winfrey Show. Okay, so yeah, people who notice other people's feelings are called sensitive. Do you think the future will be good? That's a good question. How do you feel about it? Do you think the future will be good in general, not any particular person's future? Okay, if the future will be good. Some people have a negative feelings towards the future, and things are going bad. Things will go bad. And some people feel, oh, things will go great, even if they're not so good now. So, which adjective describes those people who think the future will be good?
Optimistic.
Optimistic. And if you are opposite, you are pessimistic. So optimistic is someone who thinks the future will be good, means they are always full of hopes, positivity. They look at the positive side of a situation. Optimistic. Okay. It's good to be optimistic in life, but again, we shouldn't be over optimistic. Sometimes people who are over optimistic, too optimistic, they ignore the dangers, the problems, because they're just too optimistic. So it's good to be balanced, a good blend of optimism and pessimism, a in the right proportion will make a balanced personality. Yeah. But the word pessimistic is a negative word. Often people say, don't be so pessimistic. Don't be so pessimistic. It means don't lose hope. Okay. Just expect good things to happen. Hope that good things will happen. That's optimistic. The future will be good. For example, you're studying hard for an exam, but you keep saying, but I will fail, but I will fail. So that's not very optimistic. If you're working hard, you should hope that you will pass. That's optimistic. But if you are hoping that you'll pass without working hard, you know, that's a little bit different. So optimistic, thinking that the future will be good. Can your friends depend on you? Can your friends depend on you? Sometimes yes, go on, Ilya.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
Your friends can depend on you. Alejandro, Gonzalo, what about you guys?
Yeah, I think so.
In that case, I think the future will not be easy, but it will be worth it because just as bad things can happen, good things will also happen
Ah, that's
at
so
the same
so
time.
balanced. Yeah, great. Hmm. But I feel, Gonzalo, that bad things will happen, no doubt. But those bad things, if you look at the pattern, those bad things are not that bad in nature today than they were in the past. For example, Gonzalo, if you just go 200, 300 years in the past, you will notice that in a lot of places, people were killed publicly, and it was like a punishment given to them in front of everybody else, and that made other people disensitive. Uh, uh, that took people's sensitivity away, when they could see people being killed in public in front of them. But today, you don't see such a thing anymore. In the past, there used to be a lot of wars, okay? But nowadays, we don't see that many wars. So I think the future is headed in the right direction, unless something suddenly changes. So, yeah, but I like the way you said that, bad things happen, but good things will also happen. Great. Okay. And what about this? Can your friends depend on you? Alejandro, Gonzalo, both of you.
Mm, I think
You
yes,
think you
they
think
can.
yes, they can depend on
Yeah,
you.
they can depend on
When
me.
when you when you make a promise, when you say yes, I'll do it for you, you mean it,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah. Gonzalo.
I think the same, Alejandro.
Hmm. Yeah, of course. You know, normally I don't say yes when I can't do something for them. I don't just say yes for the sake of it. I when I say yes, I'll do something, I totally mean it. Sometimes I fail to do it, but not because I didn't want to, just because it couldn't happen. I couldn't do it. But yeah, I try my best, to be dependable, and to keep my words. When I make a promise, I try to keep my words. Sometimes it's difficult for people, but that's all. But I have very, very good intentions to keep my word. So I consider myself totally dependable. And a person who is dependable, which adjective here can be used for them?
Reliable.
Reliable is another word for dependable. Okay, reliable. A reliable friend. Okay. Next. Is your room often messy? Is your room often messy?
Yes, very often. Yes,
Very
it is.
often. Okay. Noelia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Gonzalo.
Um, in the case, sometimes because there are times when I say, okay, I have to tidy up my room, and I do it, but it happens, right?
Right.
It happens.
My room is often messy and very messy. Not just messy, very messy. I just don't see the point of tidying up things sometimes, as long as you can find what you're looking for, I don't even consider it messy. I think we're all the same here except Gonzalo. He cares about his room more. I mean, anybody who, even my classroom, it's so messy. But again, I have read somewhere that intelligent people, are lazy. They don't like tidying up and all that. But again, I don't want to say that all those people who like, tidying up their places or keeping their places tidy are not intelligent. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me as much. But you know what? This is my childhood upbringing. I expect girls to be more tidy than boys somehow. And I know this is not right. But when a boy is not tidy, when a boy is messy, I kind of take it easy. And a girl is messy, I feel, oh my goodness. Like I expect them to be a little more tidy. No, I don't believe girls are different in any way, but somehow, some things stay because of your upbringing. Yeah, I consider boys and girls the same, but still, in this aspect, I expect girls to be a little more tidy somehow. Perhaps when I was growing up, it was my mom and my sister who always tidied up our house, every part of it. It was their responsibility. It was something that they loved doing. We helped them, we contributed, but it was not something we initiated, doing. Every 15, 20 days, 1 month, my mom or my sister would say, okay, the room needs tidying up. Like we need to make some changes here. Things are not looking good. So it would be their, idea, and we would all join them. So somehow I got this feeling that girls are more tidy, and I expect girls to be more tidy. Okay. But my wife is not very tidy either. She's also pretty messy. She wouldn't admit it, maybe, but I'm more honest about it. I know I'm not tidy. Hmm. Do you get annoyed when you have to wait for? Okay, so if your room is often messy, which word here will describe you? Yeah, we had the word untidy, guys. Untidy. Okay, next. Do you get annoyed when you have to wait for anyone or anything? That's a good question. Some people don't like waiting for anybody or anything. They just want things then and there. No patience, guys. I don't think you guys are those people. Do you get annoyed when you have to wait for anyone or anything? Or sometimes you understand you have to wait. You can't get everything then and there. Yeah. I know nobody likes waiting for too long. It does annoy us all, but sometimes it's okay to wait, right?
In my case, I don't mind if like they take their time. Like when they do like every day or like very often, yeah, I can get mad.
Yeah, right. When somebody makes it a habit to make you wait, they don't really
Yeah.
appreciate your time, Absolutely. I agree with what you said. Alejandro and Gonzalo.
So whenever there's, for example, like a group work and we gotta do something on time, like in time, and um I gotta like wait for a long time, and we shouldn't. It's an example, and yeah, I would really get annoyed. So I would say sometimes that
Yeah,
would happen because of the time. Like sometimes there's deadlines and you must complete. Yeah, sometimes
exactly.
that may happen.
Exactly. When you shouldn't have to wait and somebody is making you wait, that's when you feel annoyed. I can understand. Yeah. Gonzalo.
It depends on the situation. If I don't have much time, I get stressed, and if I have enough time, I make to do some pending things
Right.
while I wait for the other person.
Right. Let's take a situation here in India. When we go to see a doctor, most times you have to make an appointment. And yet, it's not that you will go at your appointment time and see the doctor. You still have to wait for half an hour, for 1 hour, because there is a long queue of people, patients, waiting to see the doctor. So when you reach the clinic, the hospital, usually you have to wait. Okay. It's very rare that you will get there and the doctor will see you. It's very rare. So you have to go prepared, mentally, that you have to wait there for an hour. But sometimes what happens that there is a little bit, dishonesty there, that some people who come after you, they somehow get to see the, doctor before you. That's when I get annoyed. I say, hey, look, I won't take it. Some people came after me and still they are going to see the doctor before I can. So I'm not okay with that. And in that case, I get a little annoyed. I kind of show that annoyance as well. I don't keep it to myself. But yeah, I'm not somebody who minds waiting for things or people. When I know I have to, it's normal. Anyways, such people who just don't like waiting at all, which adjective can describe those people who just don't like waiting?
Impatient.
Impatient, everyone, impatient, okay? So I don't really consider myself impatient. Trust me, I don't think I am. I think some other people in my family are more impatient than me. When they want something, they get a little like, they want it as quickly as possible. Okay. Do you feel excited, very excited about something new you're buying? Like, okay. I know. I remember once I decided that I wanted to buy a big TV, 55 inches, 60
Yeah.
inches screen. And the day I decided I wanted to do it, next morning I went to the, shop and got it. Some people say, oh, you should have thought about it more, You just hastily, impatiently went and bought the TV. You could have bought another thing instead of the TV, like a smart board or something that could have been more useful. So sometimes everybody gets a little impatient, especially when you're doing something really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't consider myself impatient. Number
Okay.
11. I think we have a very biased opinion of ourselves. Somehow I'm feeling, because other people can't be wrong all the time. Maybe I am a little impatient, which I'm not acknowledging because yes, sometimes I do feel like, okay, let's do it as quickly as possible. If it has to happen, why not now? Okay, maybe sometimes I am impatient. Okay. I'm impatient when I'm going buying something, yeah, definitely. When I'm buying something exciting, I want it. I want to buy it as soon as possible. Like I don't want to wait for a day or two unnecessarily. If I have the money and I know I need to buy it, buy it. Okay. Yeah. Some people they just want the best deal, and for that they wait as much as they can. Now, do you get annoyed? Okay, we did that. Do you find reasons to do tomorrow things you should do today? Ah, yeah, this is also a personality type. They keep finding reasons to do tomorrow things they should do today. They keep putting off, postponing things. What do you think about them? What adjective describes them? First of all, let's talk about which adjective describes those people who keep postponing, their action, putting off what they need to do today. They don't appreciate the urgency of the matter sometimes.
Lazy.
Lazy, right? Lazy is the word here. And lazy people, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. Now, do you think you are one of those? Do you behave in a lazy way sometimes? I guess we all do. Let's see, hear you. Alejandro, Noelia, Gonzalo, what do you have to say? How lazy do you think you are?
In my case, sometimes like for example, if I want to prepare for like if I want to do like for example homework like it's due like Thursday, I did it like on Wednesday or like at night or like in the afternoon. So kind of I let like things today
Right.
and sometimes
Instead of doing it on Monday or Tuesday, oh, come
yeah,
on, we have an extra day, so why not tomorrow, right?
yeah,
Okay.
sometimes that happens.
Yes, we all think in this way. Okay, Alejandro, Gonzalo, what about you?
So every time I want to organize myself, like I just plan out when I want to, but then I get to a point when I say like, okay, I don't want to continue. I don't want to continue doing this, and I'm just gonna do nothing, and I'm just gonna rest a little bit of time, and then I just continue procrastinating, and I just have to do it the next day. Yes,
Right.
that's yeah, that's horrible, but that actually happens to everybody.
Yeah, totally. Gonzalo.
Sincerely, yes, it's something I'm not proud of. I know that's wrong, so I'm trying to get better at it.
One thing goes in our favor. All of us are very honest about admitting things that are not good about us. I'm also very lazy, I think. I say, then why do we have extra time? If it is due on Thursday, why do we have to do it on Monday? I mean, we have 2 extra days. Why not do later? What's the point? And my daughter is very like me. But when you're a student and you're preparing for an exam and you keep putting things off, sometimes you have big regrets when things stack up, when you have so much.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just goes out of control. All my student life, I was great during classes. I would remember things, answer questions in the class first. And I would always be considered a great student in the class who would know what the teacher was teaching and would understand things fast as well. But somehow, because of my habit of putting off my revision, I would always say, okay, I'll revise it later, or I'll revise it later. I could never really show my potential in exams, because most times I would go to the exams unprepared, half prepared, and my result was never that great. I always had better reputation than my results showed, and so I know sometimes it can be bad. And revision is such an important thing when you're studying, when you're a student, because most of the things that we study at school have a little connection to day life, So when we don't revise, those things kind of slip out of mind, And obviously, we don't want that. So, yeah, it doesn't matter how little we study, but revision is really, really important. Some of my
Yes.
students in my language class as well, they are wonderful students in the class, but
Mhm.
they keep forgetting things because they don't revise. They learn very quickly, no matter how difficult the concept is that I'm explaining. They get it quick, but then after a couple of days, after a couple of weeks, they kind of forget what they studied just because they didn't revise. So in this
Yeah.
aspect, our laziness, is not really good. But otherwise, if it is a Sunday, why do you have to have a bath early morning? You can do it in the afternoon as well because you're gonna stay home anyway. Okay, so yeah, that's how I think.
Mhm.
Do you always work hard? Always? Come on. Always? We work hard, but always?
Not
What do you
always.
mean?
We try, but yeah, sometimes
Yeah,
not.
I mean, fooling around also has its own fun sometimes, when you say, okay, later, okay, maybe. Slacking. Okay, slacking is the right word when you are not really working very hard, okay? When you slack, okay. Yes, Gonzalo.
Yeah, in my case, um, I always try to be the best of me, and that's it.
Yeah, understand that intention, right? I would say I share the same attitude. But do we always work hard? There are times when we take it easy, a little bit. I mean, maybe because it's not that important, we think, what we are taking easy, I don't know. Means I would say, Gonzalo, that I definitely expect myself to do great, whatever I'm doing. I want to do it in the best way, I've already said. But do you always work hard? I'm not very sure about that always there. That always is making me nervous. Okay. Alejandro and Noelia, what about you?
Yeah, me neither. Like I try, like not always we try our best because we sometimes like or we are like tired or something. Like we don't do as much as effort that we put if
Should or
we are
we could, yes.
yeah, like, so yeah. Always
Alejandro.
not.
Yeah, always. That's the problematic word there.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like,
Alejandro.
yeah, so basically, sometimes you gotta understand that it's not like always it's not always possible to balance what you want to do, what you want to work hard, and sometimes you gotta like decrease that um decrease that level of working.
Intensity. Intensity.
Intensity, yes, intensity, that's a word. and and that sometimes happens that you have to prioritize your main goals, main priorities in your life, and just decrease the level of working.
Yep.
Yeah, that actually happens. I don't do it. I don't do it like always, but
Well
I
put,
usually try to
Alejandro.
do my
Well
best.
put. Very well put. You expressed it really well, logically, yes. Sometimes it's about priorities. Some things are not on your priority list. So you don't really do your best about those things. Absolutely. Doesn't mean you don't want to do your best, but those things are just not your priority in that moment. Yeah. What do you have to say on that, Gonzalo? Sometimes, some things are not at the top of your priority list. And that's where you kind of slack a little bit, maybe, because that's not really important for you right now. Otherwise, you would definitely do better.
Sorry, teacher.
I said, okay, one suggestion, when your friends are expressing an opinion, you have to listen to them very carefully so that you can respond to what they are saying as well. So Alejandro said, yes, we want to work hard, but then some things are not at the top of our priority list. Some things are not that important. And that's why we don't really work very hard for those things, because we understand that's not your priority in that moment. So what he wanted to say. So sometimes we have to respond to our friends' opinions as well, especially when they are expressing an opinion which is different from ours. Okay. When we are saying the same thing, okay, yeah, yeah, Gonzalo. Because you said you always want to do your best, you know, and that word always was kind of making us a little different. We want to believe we work hard, we do, and but always I'm not sure, because some things are not that important that you really work hard for them. You can afford to take them easy. There are a few things maybe. Okay, number 13. Okay, so of course, hardworking people, those who always work hard, those who like working hard, hardworking people. There is another word, diligent. Diligent. Okay. A diligent person works hard. Okay. Number 13, do you keep your feelings and ideas to yourself? Hmm. There are some people, they don't feel very confident about sharing their ideas, their feelings. They like to be quiet about what they feel. They express themselves better, maybe, uh, you know, to a diary instead of to people. They just don't like having a lot of people around them. Do you keep your feelings and ideas to yourself? Hey, Rodrigo,
Hi, teacher.
you're late a little.
Yeah.
What were you busy with?
Because uh, I studied for my exam.
Ah, I see, I see. Too much to handle, right? Too many things to study. This is one when I think students should have a little bit more time, and they have to study two things and at the same time. You have an exam tomorrow, and then you have this English class as well. Do you keep your feelings and ideas to yourself?
Sorry?
Do you keep your feelings and ideas to yourself, or do you like sharing them? Some people don't feel very confident sharing their ideas, their feelings with others. They're more comfortable keeping themselves their ideas to themselves. Number 13, Gonzalo.
Sometimes I keep my ideas to myself, but there comes a point, um, and I have to say it. And sometimes I write it on paper.
Lovely. Alejandro.
Yeah, so sometimes I just feel that it's not necessary to share my feelings with my family or with some friends, but there are sometimes there are some situations where you maybe say, where I maybe say that It's not necessary, but it's totally necessary. So you can get a second opinion on any of your problems or any kind of situation I'm going through. And
So,
yeah,
so you can share. You don't
yeah,
mind
yeah, yeah,
sharing.
but I can share, but sometimes like I don't feel like it's necessary to always share my feelings. Yeah.
Right, right. It's not something that you feel uncomfortable with. It's a decision you make that it's just not necessary. Yeah, good.
Yes.
Noelia.
In my case, I don't usually share, but I can, but I make that decision like for me, like do not share with other
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm.
But I can,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Now, Rodrigo, do you keep your feelings and ideas to yourself?
Okay. I understand the question now. But in my case, I usually keep my feelings to myself, but it is uh it is something very complicated. I tell that to my parents.
Right, Rodrigo, I understand. I kind of understand your personality. I mean, the way you guys, all four of you, the way you express yourselves, it's very easy for me to kind of understand what kind of people you guys are. Rodrigo, you are, which word here, guys, describes somebody who, keeps their ideas to themselves, their feelings to
Reserved.
themselves. Reserved, okay,
Reserved.
reserved.
Mm.
Uh, and there is another word, introverted, no? Introverted. Have you heard this word, introverted? Or an
Yeah.
introvert? An introvert, okay? As a noun, an introvert. As an adjective, introverted sometimes, or introvert is an adjective as well. So, Rodrigo, you are a little reserved, you are a little introverted. And
Yes.
yeah, Gonzalo, do you consider yourself reserved and introverted?
Um, a little introvert.
Little, but less than your
Yeah,
brother, right? You think your
yeah,
brother is more reserved, more
yes,
introverted. Yeah.
yeah.
Alejandro and Noelia. Um, I remember Noelia having this conversation with you last time when you and your family were studying together.
Yeah.
I think I said that, Noelia, you are a teen, and slowly and slowly things will change, You will become
Yeah.
more outspoken, you'll become more extroverted,
Hmm.
because this shyness is associated with teenage when we don't feel very confident of our personality, we don't feel very confident of what we think, and that's why we don't really feel confident to share, you know what I mean. So do you think you're changing, Noelia, because you're nearly 18 now?
Hmm.
Yeah. So do you think you're changing from the time when you were 15, 16, you're gaining confidence and you feel more confident, expressing your ideas, your thoughts, than, a lot of people like doubt their feelings, doubt their ideas. They don't think they are worth it, you know, and that's why they don't like opening up to other people, sharing their thoughts and feelings, They say, oh, it doesn't matter. um, I used to be very much like that. I used to have all my conversations in my head rather than with people. I would just talk to myself all the time in my head, and I would share very little with people. But that has
Yeah.
changed. That was when I was a young boy. But as I grew older, I was in my early 20s, I started being more open about my feelings and ideas, and more confident sharing. And today, as a teacher, I sometimes express some of my very, I will say, far fetched ideas. Yesterday, I said something very crazy, in one of my classes. I said that in 500 years time, or maybe 1,000 years time, I don't know how long it will take, but a time will come when idea of divorce will not be there. There will be breakup thing, but not divorce. And I also said that women who go to court, when their husbands divorce them, you have to register it all. You have to register your marriage as well and stuff like that. I think all these things will become very, very casual in the future. And uh, my point was that women are dependent on men today. They can take an advantage of. They are, you know in a position where they can be exploited. Okay. And that's why we have these kind of social arrangements to ensure that they are not taken advantage of. That if you divorce your wife, you have to make it formal by registering it. You have to offer a certain amount of money to them when you divorce them. But in the future, men and women will be so equal that when two people want to live together, it will be their mutual decision, and they will be mature enough that nobody will expect them to go and register their marriage. And when they break up, I mean to say that relationship will be more like friendship. You don't have to formalize your friendship. When you make friends with somebody, you don't have to go and register your friendship. And
Yeah.
then when you want to leave your friend, you leave your friend. No, nobody wants to leave their friend willingly, because you invest your emotions in your friends, right? But sometimes things do not work for you. So you part your ways. You sometimes drift away because of circumstances. So I think relationship will be more like friendship in the future, because it will be more on equal footing. Friendship is on equal footing. Both the people consider themselves equal to each other, right? But in a relationship, sometimes, or not sometimes, socially, mostly women are considered inferior. That's why it is men's duty to provide for them. It is men's duty to make sure that they are, fine somehow. But I think in the future you will not have that imbalance, and that's why marriage, divorce, it will be more like friendship, and relationship. So you won't see the interference of law and all these things so much. But when I said that, some of my people in India, my students, they were like, "What are you saying? Are we gonna live like animals?" I said, "Where is animalistic attitude here? I'm just saying that, relationship will be more like friendship. There will be less formality and more emotions, so yeah. Yes, sometimes a person befriends you because you can help them only. Their friendship is also selfish, sometimes. When you realize that is so, you don't want to remain with them, no, because you want friends who who are with you because they appreciate you as a person, appreciate your qualities. So in relationship as well, sometimes people, come close to you for their wasted interest rather than their genuine emotions for you. Okay. That thing will happen. That thing will continue to happen in the future as well. But then you won't have to make it formal by going to a court, applying for a divorce and stuff. Things will be more smooth, and people will be more mature, and most importantly, they will be on equal footing. So there will be no such expectation that the husband provides for the wife, and after divorce he has to pay some compensation or stuff. Okay. So yeah, I do not consider myself reserved anymore at all, but I used to be very reserved, very introverted. So I think personality types change a little. Some people, they don't. Hmm. Between Noelia and Alejandro, what do you guys think? Who is more reserved? Who is more introverted?
Uh, Reserved. It depends. Like, I don't know. Um,
Maybe in different aspects, you guys
yeah,
behave
different,
differently.
yeah, different situations.
Hmm. You
Yes.
may be reserved in one situation, but the other one in different situation.
Yeah, yeah,
Got
that's what
it.
I mean. Yeah.
Okay. But here between Rodrigo and Gonzalo, Rodrigo is in general a little more reticent, more quiet, more introverted than Gonzalo in general. Okay. Do you often give presents? Ah, that's lovely. Do you often give presents?
When I can, yes. But often? Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Go on. My answer is no, not often. I don't give presents to my own family members very often. Sometimes, you see, I'm the guardian figure, so I do the necessary things mostly. Presents are for other people to share with each other. I'm not that person in my family. Socially, yes, when I go to a wedding, when I go to a birthday party, I definitely, take a present with me. But yeah, in my family, don't really give presents. But we have this question here because there is an adjective that we want to learn. Okay, if a person often gives presents, that person will be described as
Generous.
generous. A generous person has a big heart, doesn't mind sharing. Okay, now I definitely consider myself generous, very generous. I definitely like, sharing, but not this way. Okay. Hmm. So I don't often give presents. What about you guys? Do you consider yourself generous? A generous person has a big heart, likes sharing, likes giving, Opposite of generous is mean. I don't think any of you is mean. Just
In
holds
general,
them.
like
Yes,
I
Anand.
like sharing,
Yes.
but when it comes to give actually presents to someone, not very often. But when it comes to actually share something, no problem for me. Like I like sharing.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like sharing. I like helping if I can.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. That is exactly what I said as well about myself. I'm not a present person, like I don't like doing presents, giving presents so much every now and then. Or maybe I do, I don't consider them presents. Okay. When I go shopping, I buy things for everybody, But again, I don't consider them presents. That's why maybe. But yeah, I definitely consider myself generous. I don't think I think of saving a lot. Some people, they value their money so much. They feel very bad when they spend any single penny. So they're mean. Mean people don't like spending money on others. Okay. Like they will go to parties which others are paying for. They will never themselves throw a party. They will never spend money on their friends. They're mean. I'm not like that. I don't mind spending money on people. Gonzalo, Rodrigo, Noelia, express yourselves.
In my case, I rarely give presents. Maybe only on a special day, my birthday and Christmas.
Right.
But sometimes I give small things like chocolate
Hmm.
and candy.
Yep.
And
Rodrigo.
Um, I usually don't give presents, but I have no problem that doing this.
Yep. When you are with your friends, and you go
Yes.
to a cafe, a restaurant, you buy something to eat, you pay for those things. They don't
Yeah.
have to make you, they don't have to implore you, come on, Rodrigo, it is your turn. You never do it. They don't do that, right? Because some people, they just don't like spending money. They like things for free from their friends. Nelia.
Um, I think like whenever I can, I share my things. But I think it's for me, like I try to give presents, but for me it's better to help people with my actions. I think it's more accurate.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. We all have intentions to help. We like helping. It makes us happy, and that's why we call
Yeah.
ourselves generous,
Mm.
kind and generous, because it makes us happy when we do things for other people. It's not like we are made or we are forced to do it. We just want to. Okay.
Yeah.
16. Are you usually calm and not worried by things? Yeah. Sometimes when you have a little bit of extra work, you start to panic. Some people can stay calm in those situations and do what they can, but some people just get under pressure and stressed out, and they mess up. They mess up those things that they can do normally very well just because of the pressure. Okay, they are not very calm. A little bit of pressure, a little bit of extra, pressure on them, and they start to crumble. Okay, so what about you? Are you usually calm, not worried by things?
Sometimes. Sometimes I get stressed very
Hmm.
easy, and
Hmm.
then that's bad. But like,
Hmm.
yeah. Sometimes I'm like calm, yeah, and easygoing.
When it is about housework, Noelia,
About housework, I'm fine, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, about my, I think, schoolwork or like something that I need to do like during a deadline. Oh my God, I'm so stressed. So
Hmm.
I'm not like,
You
easygoing.
remind you remind me of my niece, my daughter, my sister's daughter, Anushka. She also panics so much when it is so a little too much of schoolwork. She starts talking
Yeah,
to everybody, and the way she talks, oh my God. We all try to calm her down. All right, it'll do it. Okay, you have time. Don't worry. Oh, how I
yeah,
will do it. It's so gonna be difficult and stuff. She starts to panic. So, which
yeah.
word here describes such people who behave this way?
Like
Mm,
calm, like no worry about things.
yes, yes.
Easygoing.
Easygoing is the adjective, right? That's the adjective, guys. Easygoing. Yeah, right. Yeah, calm, easygoing. Even when the situation is not very, good, you maintain your calm. Such people make good bosses. Such people make very good bosses because they can handle the difficulties, the situation, remain calm. And when you are calm, the people under you also act smart. They don't really panic. When the boss panics and the boss starts being a little weird, then everybody else suffers. So, yeah, it's very important. I think I am easygoing, and I handle pressure as well. I do. What about you guys, Rodrigo, Alejandro, Gonzalo?
Like I'm usually like so whenever I have a deadline, I am usually calm. Like I just as long as I know like I am doing things on time, I am not worried. I just try to remind myself what I gotta do. And sometimes, yeah, it happens that I forgot to do something and I just stress a little bit, but I don't actually like show that like when talking to people, when talking to my family. But what do happens is that sometimes when I have a test, I just get nervous during the test, even when I know actually the topic. And yeah, my hands like start getting nervous many times, like practically always. But
What a lovely point you brought up. I think your internet. Okay.
but I am really worried when yeah.
That pressure, I wish I could handle better. I mean, in sports, like I was a carom player. Carom is a board game, carom board. So whenever I was in a difficult situation, my hands, my fingers would start to tremble, shiver. And it is something, Yeah, means I certain kind of pressure is difficult to handle. Like in sports, when I'm playing chess and last 30 seconds are left, I'm not very calm in that moment somehow. But in real life, it's different. When I'm handling people, it's different. Gonzalo, Rodrigo, do you consider yourselves easygoing? Do you stay calm when the situation could make you a little stressed out?
In my case, I consider myself a calm person for many things,
Hmm.
but when I get angry, I'm very impulsive. I
Hmm.
think is no, I think I'm very similar to my mom in that.
Great, great, Rodrigo. You expressed yourself very well. Okay, Gonzalo,
Sorry, teacher, I don't understand the question.
are you
What
usually
is it?
calm? Calm is, not very stressed out. Okay. L is silent, calm. Okay. And not stressed out and not worried by things. Easygoing. Are you easygoing? How easygoing do you think you are?
Yeah,
Imagine
I
that.
think I
Yeah, go.
consider that I'm calm,
Hmm.
but sometimes I, depending the situation,
Right.
sometimes I get stressed easily,
Mhm.
only sometimes.
Right.
But in general, I'm a calm person.
So we learned some really good adjectives to describe our personality type here: reliable, lazy, moody, generous, cheerful, easygoing, talkative, hardworking, untidy, optimistic, shy, reserved, impatient, sociable, ambitious, and sensitive. Okay. Some of these adjectives have opposites as well. Opposite of sensitive would be insensitive. Okay. Someone who doesn't care about how you're feeling. You're talking about your problems, and that person is munching on the snack, not caring about how you're feeling. All right. Making a joke in the middle while you are talking about something serious, something sensitive. So yeah, insensitive. The opposite of sensitive is insensitive. What about ambitious? If somebody is ambitious, if you want to give an opposite personality type, what will you say? You can make an opposite by just using a prefix unambitious. Okay? Unambitious. No goals in life. Unambitious. Sociable.
Unsociable.
Yes. And you could also use other words like aloof, aloof. Okay. ALOOF. Somebody who doesn't like mingling with people. Aloof. Okay. Isolated, quiet, reserved, all these adjectives will be opposite of sociable. Impatient,
Patient.
patient, patient, yes. Reserved, opposite could be outgoing, outgoing,
Talkative.
talkative, outgoing, okay, will be opposite of reserved. Shy,
Sociable.
sociable, yes, sociable, confident, optimistic, pessimistic,
Dismissed.
pessimistic, untidy, tidy, hardworking, lazy, talkative, shy. There is a
Quiet.
word reticent. Are you familiar with this word reticent? Reticent, reticent. Someone who speaks less, opposite of talkative. Reticent. Okay. Um, okay. A common word actually, reticent. Easygoing. Not so easygoing means, someone who Someone who is not very easygoing is difficult, you know. You could use the word difficult for someone who is not very easygoing. Okay. Cheerful. Opposite of cheerful can be serious,
Yeah.
gloomy. Okay. Grim. Okay. Broody. This is someone who's broody is always like serious and annoyed and grumpy, you know. Okay. Generous. Synonym is kind. Opposite could be mean. Mean is the perfect opposite of generous. Someone who
Also,
think, yeah, no, yeah, there are people. Mean describes two types of personality. One
mm,
who is rude to other people, makes harsh comments, you know, unwelcome
mm,
comments. And the other mean means someone who just doesn't like spending money or giving anything to anyone. Mean.
yeah.
Lazy, hardworking, of course. And reliable is unreliable, untrustworthy. Okay. 1.7. I'm going to play an audio file. You will listen to 5 people. After each person, you have to use which adjectives or opposites from here can describe that person. So let's listen to the audio. 1.7.
Playing from desktop O5 EVJ8C.
What are you like? 1. Life just becomes more and more complicated. All this new technology. As soon as I get used to something, it changes. What is the world coming to?
You heard that person. What did he come across as?
Mm, like the adjectives from the West.
Yes, exactly. Or the opposites.
2. 1. Life just becomes more and more complicated. All this new technology. As soon as I get used to something, it changes. What is the world coming to?
Mm,
It could be one of these words or their opposite, maybe. He's not very optimistic. He's complaining, right?
yeah.
So we could call him impatient,
Time.
pessimistic.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to use the word moody because he didn't give enough to be called moody, but maybe not very sociable either. Definitely not very tech friendly, you know. He's complaining about technology, so he's not very forward looking. A forward looking person, you know, optimistic person who just looks at things in a positive way. He's, oh, what is this word coming to? Okay. One more time.
1. Life just becomes more and more complicated. All this new technology. As soon as I get used to something, it changes. What is the world coming to?
Yes, so definitely impatient, a little unoptimistic. And I think I'll just share the audio file with you, okay? And you guys can listen to it at home. And I'll have to wrap up. It's getting late for you as well, 7:21. So I'm sharing it in the group, okay? And listen to it. Think about what personality types they are, which words can describe these people better. And tomorrow we are going to do some reading, okay? We are going to do some reading. First of all, there will be some conversation. Okay. Shall I share this page with you so that you can do a little bit of reading at home so that when you come to class, we can have more discussions, more conversations? Do you think you will find time in your day to go through this text a little bit? 10 minutes? 10 to 15 minutes? If you give 10 to 15 minutes at home, we will be in a much better position to have conversations about what you read here. Okay. So this side at least. Yeah, this side. But I'm just sharing this page. I want you to read the text only. Just go through the text here. Okay. And if you do any of these exercises, like one, fine. I don't think you can do two. Okay. Or maybe you can. Okay, you can do 1 and 2, exercise 1 and 2, reading this part. For 3, we'll have to read the other page, which we will do tomorrow. So do exercise 1 and 2 if you find time, okay? I'm sharing it in the group, guys, for you. Exercise 1 and 2. And I've also shared the audio file with you. So let's meet tomorrow.
Great, teacher. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Good
Great
night,
teacher.
everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye. Good night.
Bye, good night.